Welcome everyone to the Quadrant Community Call. Date is March 29th, or 26th, I should say. We've got two line items on the agenda, starting with Guy. Guy, do you want to kick us off?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Paul. Well, apologies in advance to people that I already share some of my insights after KubeCon in the last couple of days. But to the wider audience here, I would like to say that it was an awesome experience. It was very nice to be there, not only for the talks, which I managed to attend to quite a few of them. I think maybe over 40, including the lightning talks and the longer ones. But most importantly, for the connections we were able to make there, and to finally meet in person people we've been working with, and people that we are very thankful to the support that they have been given to the Kuadrant project, directly or indirectly, such as the people from the Gateway API subgroup. So it was nice, to have some quality time with them together, where we managed to discuss some of the important topics that are relevant to us and to the community in general. So it was very good. The reception we got from guys like Rob Scott and Nick Young and Lior and the whole team from Gateway API there. And a few takeaways from that is that there are definitely some great opportunities for us to keep collaborating, keep working together. I think there's some expectation that the work we've been doing with policy attachment will help not necessarily shape, but somehow inspire, the next steps of this particular bit of the project there, as it was said by Nick Young himself. He actually thanked us for the work we've been doing during the main Gateway API talk at KubeCon, where the room was fully packed, so that was nice. An example of a collaboration or an opportunity that we may that I think we should follow up now is there are some gaps that they expect people to step up and collaborate. One of them being the rate limiting one, which happens to be one of the areas of interest of Kuadrant, right? So I think it would be nice if we could try to collaborate by sharing our experience with the Kuadrant rate limit policy. Maybe we could kick off, that one gap. And I know of people from other companies like Google who are interested to collaborate. And who knows, maybe that can open up for other partnerships in the future for, I don't know, maybe submitting new proposals for talks at the next KubeCon with those people as well. Anyway, it was a very nice experience, and I'm bringing a lot of homework, for us to continue here. And I'll be writing those insights and those takeaways in the form of a report, which I plan to be sharing here openly soon enough.
Okay, then I'm gonna add something to this. Yesterday during the Gateway API community call, people, sorry, I'm so bad with names, but amongst which Nick Young recalled that one call for action at KubeCon was actually to get policy attachment, like policy implementers together in a room and discuss how to move those efforts forward. To which Nick said he would own that. And so, if it's probably going to be a very bad time for you, Guy, but both you and I are on the list for attending that thing when it happens. You were explicitly mentioned by name during that call, so I had no other choice than share your email address. But yeah, so that's gonna happen soonish, apparently. Which I think
no problem.
Very good.
Thanks for sharing that, Alex. Unfortunately, the timing of that community call is not the best for us here based in Europe. The next one, I think it's the EU friendly, right? That I can definitely attend, but regardless, I'll make an effort to be present on whenever they have them.
It's not going to be during one of those meetings. It's going to be another meeting. The problem is Nick,
Okay.
right? In the sense that he's
he's in Australia,
so,
right? Yeah. But anyway, I cannot complain. I mean, that's to a big deal. My own fault, right? During those talks, I said that we were happy to collaborate and to be there. So I think it's only reasonable that we were listed there. And it's also a little bit my fault that your name was there, Alex, because I also mentioned you. I know you've been chatting with the guys, I know offline, but also there during the meetups that we had, the closed sessions that we had, I mentioned your name a couple of times there as well.
Guy, you'd mentioned some homework or some follow-on action items there. I'm just wondering, how are you planning to reflect that? Is that going to be something added to the board? Is that going to be a discussion which would then potentially add something to the board, or what way do you want to try and approach that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think we could add a couple issues to the board for sure. There are things such as kicking off the gap that I think for rate limiting. We also discussed about OAuth, but OAuth is kind of another beast, and they are, in fact, they're actually expecting multiple gaps for OAuth. So I think we have a better opportunity to collaborate on rate limiting first. But there are also some more informal follow-ons that we have, not necessarily with the Gateway API subgroup, but with the wider SIG network as well, right? Another interesting takeaway from KubeCon was the announcement by the SIG network group of those two new kinds of policies around the network policy, right? I don't know if you followed on that, but it came as a surprise to me that they announced policies that are effectively to achieve what we've been calling defaults and overrides in the context of policy attachment in Gateway API, right? Except that they are not following the pattern. They actually define new kinds of policies to introduce the concept, right? To do the same thing, to achieve the same thing, right? So there is the new admin network policy, which effectively translates to overrides, and there is a baseline admin network policy, which is defaults. So I had a chance to chat with them, including Surya. I'm sorry, I forgot his surname now, but she's Red Hat, and we agreed on following on that as well, because even though Gateway API is a subgroup of the SIG network, right? Apparently, they were not 100% aware of that gap. So in a way, that we ended up being the ones, letting them know about policy attachment, about default and override. So I also see some opportunities to collaborate with a wider group there as well. So I don't know. Maybe definitely we can open issues for the gap. Maybe for this one as well.
Sounds good. Any other questions for Guy or Alex? All right, I guess we can move on to the next line item around global rate limiting. Alex, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, that one's going to be really quick. Just wanted to update on the progress from, I guess, last week. So good news is we have something working that one mitigates the latency problem we have across different regions. And also I supports, let's say, for now, very short-lived partitions across the system. So we'll make that more robust over the coming weeks, I guess. The idea, there is effectively, I meant to look it up. I don't know if you could configure what's called the Redis cache storage inside Limitador through the Limitador CR already. But in any case, I added a new switch to that lets you control what you like, what is too slow. When if you don't get a response in that amount, you consider yourself partitioned. So that will become configurable. My idea was to enable that only through the limited door CR today, which is actually true for most of those quote unquote low level details for limited door. And then the question becomes how does the limited door behave when it considers itself partitioned? So one will expose something in the metrics so that somebody can at least know about that, because it's probably not a good situation to be in. But that's the easy part. For now, the behavior will be, it will behave as if it's the sole authority for that limit. So meaning if you have a limit of 1,000 that you share with 5 other clusters, but at that time, okay, what I'm saying is not entirely true, right? Whatever the view was on the past will still be correct, but from there on, it will consider that like all the other ones are not doing any more writes. I think with some people, I shared the idea that we would let somebody set like a function, a ratio effectively of what it should be in the face of a partition so that you could reduce that limit to say, I don't know, 60% or whatever, right? So that you hit that limit sooner. I'll prepare RFC for that, but yeah, I guess the initial, I think it probably is wise to first test it with that without exposing too much to a user right now, and we can then iterate as we go on how we want to make that better. I guess that's more or less where things are right now, and more to come. Questions? Awesome. All crystal clear. Nothing really surprising, to be honest, right? It's just taking baby steps towards providing a more full-fledged solution for users to have. But the question, anyways, I'll raise the many questions I had in the RFC and which angle is best to expose to users so that they can achieve whatever it is they're trying to do.
Thanks, Alex. Any questions or comments on that one? All right. Will be a relatively short community call today. So we've gone through the line items that are listed for this March 26th. Is there anything on the backlog or anything else that people want to raise and open for discussion? Okay, I guess not. We'll leave it there then, folks. Thanks all.
Cheers.